they wouldn't have made any progress had it not been through black people. I mean, this is something everybody seems to forget or don't know or don't pay any attention to. You know, the Egyptians created the Greeks, and Greece was their first so-called civilization. I mean, before the Greeks were taught by the Egyptians, they wasn't building nothing but piles of garbage. They had no real civilization. It was just rubbish up there. They didn't know shit. They didn't know how to build. They didn't know science. They didn't have any sort of education at all. They were just savages, uncivilized. So where would they ever be if we had never taught them? And why do we teach them? Because we so fucking nice, and we so colorblind. It was a Chinese kung fu movie where the guy said, "Your strength is your weakness." Our strength is our big hearts, and it's our weakness. Because it's been that weakness, that big heart, that caused all our trouble. Because we never said, fuck you. We not educating you. We not giving you our knowledge. We don't know what you're going to do with it. We're not teaching you how to build. We're not going to teach you government. These motherfuckers knew nothing about government, mathematics, the medical field, nothing. Their most praised doctor, Hippocrates, just like you gotta, recite the Hippocratic Oath before you can become a doctor, said himself that he was a student of Imhotep from Africa. When Alexander, so-called the Great, came into Egypt, he rejoiced about finally, I made it to the home, to the origin of the Greek gods. Herodotus wrote about how the Greeks took all the gods from Egypt and renamed them. Gave them a Euro twist. Herodotus wrote about how they get every fucking thing, mathematics, astronomy, from the Egyptians. So where the fuck would they be had we not given them all that? I mean, look what we created. A world of people who took everything we gave them and used it against us. Came back and robbed us. And then started telling us we were never shit. We actually birthed these motherfuckers into existence, physically and intellectually. I mean, do you know how hard them motherfuckers' face would have had to drop when they first entered Kemet? That was the first African civilization those motherfuckers saw when they came into Africa. To see these big fucking pyramids. Now remember, they was intact when these Euros and these Asians first came in there. And those pyramids were like gemstones. They were polished in white limestone with gold tops. Somebody, I think it was Alexander, said you could see that the top of the pyramid shining from 100 miles away. Can you imagine how their faces dropped? Like, what the fuck? Coming from a pile of rubble from up in Greece and Europe, coming from the hills and the mountains and caves and shit, building fires, to come and see shit where they build floors out of gold. Can you imagine how bad the Sphinx scared them? This big black African face looking at their ass. They saw a sort of extraterrestrial-like city. They had to ask themselves, where the fuck have we been? We were so far and beyond them at some point. It's just, it was catastrophic how they flipped this shit back on us. They were so far behind us that we looked down on them like they was animals. Like, you know, these people are never fucking be able to run a nation. They barely walking on 2 feet. They closer to the animal kingdom. Don't know how to cook, don't know how to count, don't know how to read, don't know shit. We was drinking out of gold cups, building glass. We was playing around with mathematics, geometry, sciences. They didn't know nothing about that shit. There was no question in the ancient world who the top dogs was. Everybody knew the Africans run shit. And if you don't go there to get educated, motherfucker, you not educated. I don't want to hear shit you got to say. You know what I mean? And now it's the total opposite. That was their aim from the first point they came into contact with us, was to put themselves in our position and to put us in their position. And they never stopped until they achieved that goal. And now, after they've already achieved it, they still going in hard. While we already down, face down, they just still kicking us. When will you motherfuckers wake up? If you're not black, they're not our friends, they are our enemies. I don't care how many of them you get as so-called friends. That shit is fake. It's fake. And y'all will be getting together pretending to be friends. I don't want to hear shit. You just an ignorant motherfucker. That's the bottom line. So, the Arabs came in and kicked their asses out of Africa. The whites out of Africa. Kicked them back into Europe. That's when the Europeans went back into the so-called Middle Ages. So they lost all that shit they learned. They was using our lands for trade and getting rich off Africa's soil. They lost knowledge of everything and they turned back into degenerates. You gotta remember, at every point that everybody, at each high point or golden age that Europe had, it was at a time when they was feeding off Africa's soil and resources. So they went back into the dark ages after the Arabs kicked their asses out, and then the Arabs started stealing our shit. You know, stealing their shit, stealing our shit to use for Islam, stealing all kinds of shit from out of Africa. And then what the fuck happened? We retaught the Europeans. That's when they came into their so-called age of enlightenment. Who enlightened them? The Moors, the African Moors. We taught these motherfuckers again. Why? Because we had some ideology of color blindness. Was not dealing with race or identity. And they used what we taught them against us. I mean, when the fuck will we learn? We taught these motherfuckers. These ignorant bastards got up in Europe and didn't even know how to fucking sail. They didn't even have knowledge of direction. They didn't know what direction is north, south, east, or west. Africans re-taught the motherfuckers and brought them out of the dark ages. And then helped them enslave Africans. You gotta remember, the Moors had this Asiatic ideology where they really didn't connect with blacks, with Africans on an African level based on identity. They had been indoctrinated by the Arabs. and they destroyed powerful civilizations in West Africa. Universities. I mean, we was getting shit moving in West Africa before we came over here as slaves. We had the greatest educational systems in the world. We was the men. And they came and destroyed our shit. And the African Moors helped them enslave us. Gave them a map to get over here to the Western Hemisphere. They helped them. We helped them do that shit. And we got here, and then what they do? They started building a civilization based on African principles. Their laws, their governments derived from Africa, from Kemet. They went back to Egypt. The building structures and shit, the way Washington D.C. is built, is patterned directly from Kemet. The Washington Monument as an obelisk. Masonry, that all came from Egypt. Their religion all came from Egypt. So where the fuck would they be had they not gone through us? If we took away everything we gave to them, they would be living in caves again. And it's crazy how they can spew out nonsense like this. And this go for the Asians too. You go study Krishna. Go study Asian history. The first people over there were the Africans from South Africa. The San people. Many Africans still look like that with the small eyelids. Look at they gods. Those are black gods. There are even stories from Asia and China that speak of little black men who were the first ones there. Little small black men who were short. And you see they still short over there. They scientists already confirmed, yeah, well, our origins came from Africa. Same with India. Their gods were black. Those are renditions of Osiris or Asa. Krishna and Buddha and shit. And they worshiping black gods. Concepts that came out of Kemet. So where the fuck would this world be? Asians or white or Indian? Had we not given them the foundation to springboard off of. And it's crazy how they can, like I was saying, can spew out nonsense like this. And have some black people unable to pinpoint how ridiculous it is. Motherfuckers reduced us to nothing. Took all our shit. Let's live in the Western Hemisphere. Took our fucking language. Took our ability to read, to write, to worship. Stripped us down to bare nothing. To where we could only identify ourselves as a people through dress and talk and dance. And what they do, they steal that shit from us. I mean, goddamn. Will you ever stop taking our shit? We come over here and gave y'all music. We invented rock and roll, jazz. And before y'all came into Africa, y'all had never heard fucking music before in your life. You never even heard music. Fucking destroy us and then take what little bit we got and claim it for yourself. Now we can't even be ourselves. We can't even walk without you trying to walk like us. Talk without you trying to talk like us. Dance without you stealing our goddamn dances. I mean, can you motherfuckers come up with something original on your own? Crazy shit. You know what? Fuck y'all, man. You know, straight up. Anybody else want to talk about, we only can advance through somebody? I don't give a fuck who you talking about. Anybody else want to say that shit?